lovelies, welcome back to another video. Today I did this monochromatic red look. I hope you guys love it as much as I do. If you do, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you. Alright, so I'm just starting off by using this Milani eyeshadow primer. This is the first time I use it, and I did like it. I want to keep using it before I give you guys a complete review on how well it works in comparison to the normal concealer that I use. It does not have as much coverage, but I don't have that dark of vein, so it still worked out well for me. So now I'm going in with the Modern Renaissance palette, and I am first just setting that primer down so that way it's not tacky and everything will blend out nicely using a large fluffy brush and just buffing that in from the crease all the way up to the brow bone, and also setting the eyelids as well, just that way everything is one singular color. Now I am going in with the shade Burnt Orange, and I'm just using this as my transition shade. So I am buffing that into my crease with a pointed fluffy brush from e.l.f. And I'm just using that to buff it all the way up towards my brow bone and just staying right in the crease using that circular motion just to create a nice gradual transition. Then I just put some tape on the outside of my eyes to help create a sharp line. And then I am using a mixture of the two red shades from the palette. So first just going in with the shade Love Letter, and I'm sorry for covering up my eyes, I'm doing this, the palette will move shortly. And I'm just buffing that into the crease up right over where we put that transition shade, and I'm also dragging it across the eyelid on the outer corner just to really deepen up that color, and I'll just keep going back and forth between dipping into the shade and buffing it onto my eyelid until it looks nice and blended out, but it is also to the depth that I want it. And then making sure I go back with the original brush I was using and just blend that all out. So that way everything looks really blended. How many times did I say blended in this video? But I just want everything to look really smooth and really transitioned. Now I'm going in with the shade Red Ochre, and I'm just really placing this on the outer V of my eye. And so I'm using this small brush first to just place it on the outer corner of my eye, and then I am going to use it to smoke it up into my crease. I'm doing this with my eyes open because I do have slightly hooded eyes, especially when I fully open them. And so by doing this with my eyes open, I'm able to put this color up in the crease so that way it will still show even when my eyes are open. And then I am going to take that white shade again and just place that on the inner half of my eye where I don't have any color, just so that way there is a nice smooth shade there, and then I will transition between the two with a little bit of blending towards that middle section. So here you just see me blending those together so that way everything looks nice and smooth and gradual, and there are no harsh lines between the white shade and the red shades that I had used before. Now we're going to move on to the face, and I'm first using this Milani Prime Light primer. As you can see, this is my first time using it, and I loved it. As I mentioned in previous videos, I do have a really dry skin, and so this one really helped to make my skin look nice and dewy, and it also minimizes pores, which is awesome, and it's at an affordable drugstore price, so it is fabulous. And actually, this one is not the Prime Light one, but this is their Prime. It's hydrating and pore minimizing, and then I added a little bit of the strobing just to get a little bit more hydration in. I do think that the Prime Light one is slightly better than just the normal primer one. And now I'm going in with my Maybelline Fit Me foundation. You will notice that this is slightly darker than the rest of my neck and my arms. It was my summer shade. So I'm just going to kind of blend it down to my neck to blend it all out, and I'm just going to go in with a little bit of a lighter amount so that way the color isn't too dark, and I'll kind of correct the color as well with my concealer later. But I did notice once I started applying it that it was too dark, so that is why I drug it down onto my neck and chest area just to make it all look more natural onto the skin, and so it wasn't as obvious that it was the wrong color for me. And then I am going in with the Maybeline Fit Me Concealer, and I am just placing this under my eyes, and I will also place it on the top of my forehead, on the bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, and on my chin, and then I will blend all of that out with the damp beauty blender that I had just used to blend in my foundation. And I'm just using this not only to conceal my under eyes, but also just to highlight my face and add some dimension. And this will help to correct with the darkness that was added with the foundation being a little bit too dark. And then I am going in with the Milani Prep Set Glow Powder and using this under my eyes. This was my first time using this as well, and I loved it. I want to keep using it, and I also want to try using it to set my entire face just to see how I like it. The one thing is that it doesn't have a mirror, so I am having to use a different product just to have a mirror. But other than that, I think this was a really light coverage. It didn't add any extra color or anything like that, but it really just melted into the skin. So I'm excited to see what that is like when I use it to set my entire face. And then I just used the Fit Me mattifying powder, and I'm just using that to set the rest of my face. I am not a huge fan of this. I have to use quite a light amount of it. Otherwise, it does tend to get a little bit cakey on my face since it is dry, even if I do go in with a more illuminating foundation. So this isn't one that I am super fond of with my dry skin unless I use quite a light amount. So now I'm just going to go fill in my eyebrows, and I used the Milani Brow Kit. This is my first time using it, and it worked okay. I still want a little bit more practice using that. Then I also gave myself a winged liner using a Victoria's Secret liquid eyeliner that I have from years and years ago. If you guys are watching, you should recommend some really good liquid eyeliners below because I am in need of an upgrade since that one's so old. And then I'm just taking red ochre and placing this on my lower lash line, really close to the waterline, and I'm only putting this halfway across my eye, and then going in with burnt orange and just buffing that all out, and then filling my waterline in with a black liner. And I will also fill in my tight line with this, but I don't show that because I know I can't stand when I watch people put their eyeliner that close to their eyelid. Now I'm going back in with the Pixie bronzer, the natural contour bronzer, and I'm just using this to sculpt out my face. So I'm going to use it to bronze or to contour out my cheekbones. I'll also put it on the tips of my forehead and under my jawbone and double chin just to get rid of that, add some dimension to my face. I am in love with this product. You'll probably be seeing me use it in a lot of videos. If you guys have other Pixie products that you would recommend, you should leave those down below as well because I am really hoping to add more of their products to my line. They're super affordable, and this one blends out so well that it makes me excited to try out some other ones. And then just to bronze up the skin, I am going in with the Chocolate Soleil bronzer from Too Faced, and I'm just placing that over the same places I just contoured, so over the edges of my face, on the tops of my forehead, over my cheekbones, and then down my neck a little bit. And I'm just going really light-handed with this since the foundation was still a little bit dark. I didn't need to add too much warmness to my face, but I do just like to have an overall glow on top of just the contour. And then I am going in with this Milani Rose blush and just dusting that on my cheekbones and swiping it back towards my hairline just to lift my face. And then I am going in with the Becca Skin Perfecting Pressed Highlighter in the shade Pearl. And I'm first using this to highlight my brow bone. Then I'm also going to use that to highlight my inner corner. And I will also use that to highlight the high points of my face. So my cheekbones, the bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, and up towards my temples. Mostly focusing this on my cheekbones though. That's where I want the highlight to really shine through. This is a highlighter that I'm absolutely in love with, but I do plan on expanding my highlighter collection so that way I can show you guys a little bit more vast options, since this is one that I've been using a lot in my videos. But I do really like it. So that's another one that if you guys have suggestions of ones you want me to try out, go ahead and leave those below. Then I just put on some Eylure Natural Lashes. And then I am spraying my face with the Milani Make It Dewy Setting Spray. And now I am lining my lips. I will leave the description of the lip liner that I'm using in the description box below because I'm not exactly sure what lip liner this is. But I am just using this to give my lips an overall outline before I go in with the Milani matte lip cream, of course. And I'm going in with the red shade. I will also leave the exact name of it down below. But I loved it. I loved matching all of the reds together, doing the red eye with the red lips. And I'm wearing red as well. But you could definitely pair this with a nude lip just to kind of take the red down if you weren't wanting to do both bold eyes and bold lips. But I felt that the eyes weren't too strong, that I could definitely pull off a red lip with it as well. And I loved the way it turned out with all of it being monochromatic and matching together. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. So here is the final look. I know you have heard everybody say it, but until you use it yourself, you do not understand just how amazing the Modern Renaissance palette is. It was so pigmented, so easy to blend, and it made this look so easy to accomplish. And of course, I had to pair it with a Milani matte lip cream because I am obsessed. I hope you guys love this look as much as I do. Please like and subscribe, join my little family, and I'll see you next time.
Strung out on compliments, overdosed on confidence. Started not to give a fuck and stop fearing the consequences.
Modern Renaissance, blah, blah, blah.